Hey everyone, welcome back. I have a pickup video here. Now I did do an unboxing one a few weeks back and I haven't done too much since. I had minor eye surgery, so that's all gone well, but I've been a little bit slow getting back to the swing of things. I was going to show those in this, but I managed to accumulate enough items where that would just take up too much time. It was Saturn and TurboGrafx 16 titles, so if you're interested, definitely check out that video. It's from my favorite seller, so I get to show. I got a chance to show how he packages things very well. Now, a lot of these are actually older items, things I just didn't show in a pickup video. And every so often, I will make a second part to a pickup video, but I don't upload it because they'll only cover 2 or 3 items. And by that point in the video, it's the end, and I'm rambling on. And not that these are necessarily entertaining, but those like 9 or so minute ones are decidedly less so because I'm just rambling. It's only about 3 or 4 titles, and I never put them up. So I gathered a bunch of those. And one really nice item that's a bit of a heartbreaker. But first up, 2 belated birthday presents. This is a book on Seleucus Nicator, founder of the Seleucid Empire. At one point, this book was something about, or in the range, I should say, of about $500. The company put out this revivals line, and so they went back and re-released hundreds of books for the $30 to $50 range. This is a birthday present. I actually had my parents pre-order it, and then Amazon either didn't get them in or sold out of their allotment. So it took a while to come in, but it finally did, and I'm extremely happy because last I checked, they were still trying to sell like new copies for over $100, and this is in a $30 or $40 range for one of the reprints. And the author, John Granger, recently put out a book or two with Pen and Sword, but until he did that, this was the only book on Seleucus Nicator and one of the 2 or 3 in English on the Seleucid Empire. And I think this might be still the only one on the man himself. I think the book Granger's put out is on the general history of the empire. But really entertaining. And the next one is for my brother. This one took a while to get in. It is The Scarlet Gospels by Clive Barker. Now, this is the UK cover, which is by far the better cover. If you've seen the US one of this, I do not know what they were thinking. I'm not sure if it was a problem with licensing the art or not, but they should have paid that guy whatever he wanted. Apparently, he did go through random copies and doodle a picture of Pinhead, but this was not one of them. I'm not sure who the artist is. My brother said they were selling prints of his work, of this picture in particular, on the website, but it sold out. He got this in because it was from Clive Barker's website, and you could specify which cover you wanted. And it also took a bit because he sprung for the autographed copy. Now, I don't seek out autographs, but I'm certainly not going to turn them down, especially when they're from people I really like. Clive Barker is my favorite fiction author. My wife got me one from Stuart Chaffee from Computer Chronicles, which is awesome. So yeah, whenever it's from someone whose work I really enjoy, it just adds that little bit extra to an item. And because it came from his store, they also sent some ads, which also double as art pieces, and this bookmark. I'm not crazy about these this cut right here. It looks like the old honor roll and banner roll ribbons you got in elementary school. But apparently, the whoever the artist is, because I don't think it's Clive Barker. My brother said another name. He did this image. He doodled it in random copies. I didn't get one of those, unfortunately. This book, I will say, the dialogue is very rough. It's Harry D'Amour. He's a detective, and I believe he was in Lord of Illusions. He's the detective in that movie and book. Pinhead takes over Hell, or he's trying to, and wants D'Amour to write his Gospels. Pinhead's dialogue is pretty good. The descriptive text is fantastic. That's why it should be read. A lot of detail on Hell and the hierarchy and Pinhead. You follow Pinhead for good chunks of the book. But D'Amour's dialogue is so predictable. It's like it was written by someone else. It is really rough. But it's definitely a good read in the sense that the imagery the text evokes is perfect. Yeah, definitely recommend it, The Scarlet Gospels, and thanks to my brother. And another book I picked up is The Last Roman, Romulus Augustulus. This is the last Western emperor. Now, Julius Nepos was still alive at this point, but Romulus was the one that was recognized in central Italy. He was deposed by Ottokar, who was then deposed by Theodoric, and then the Goths ruled Italy. But this is the only book on him that I know of. It's from Adrian Murdoch, who wrote a really good book on Julian. Now, I wanted to show this one because it's a good example of kind of weird Amazon purchases. This was $40 to $50 from a U.S. seller, but I went into their sellers list they have, and $11 from the UK. And I want to say it was free shipping or like $1.50 shipping. So I'm not sure why. Well, I know it defaulted to the expensive one because they were out of the U.S. But yeah, it takes time sometimes to just search on Amazon because way better deals out there. So really happy to get this. I've already started it, but I had to put it aside because I'm reading the other two books. But looking forward to it. Not a lot's known about him, so that's just the small core of the book. The rest is really what was going on throughout the Western and Eastern empires and, just the whole political situation. Okay, last non-gaming item thing is the soundtrack to It Follows. I thought the movie was pretty good. I kept hearing about it and the Babadook, and I gotta say, I prefer this by far over Babadook. Now, thematically, the Babadook was going for much, much more than It Follows, but I really could not stand some of the characters in Babadook. Now, the woman who plays the mom, I think she was also the writer of it. She does a fantastic job, but there's a kid in it that is so irritating. And I know he's supposed to be annoying, but he did too good of a job at it, so I guess he's being punished for being too talented, but I honestly didn't care what happened by the end of that movie. And I didn't find it remotely scary. When I read reviews and people say it's terrifying, I'm not sure what they're watching. My wife, who cannot even sit through commercials of horror movies, had no problems through it. So there was nothing I found creepy or scary or unsettling or unnerving on any level about Babadook. I made myself sit through it because I heard so much positive about it. And by the end, I will never watch that movie again. It Follows is much, much simpler, and as a result, it doesn't aspire to be much more, but it's really effective at what it is, and that is that when you have sex with someone that's, I guess, cursed, for lack of a better word, a creature starts to follow you. It takes on forms of other people. No one else can see it but you, and it's always walking towards you. But the soundtrack is really great synth, 80s horror movie style music. Turns out the guy also did some music for Bit Trip Runner on the Wii. But if you bought the album on Amazon, you also got the free MP3s. So I figured, why not? My album or record player still isn't working. I have a big cabinet model from the 60s. I still have to get that looked at. But if I can get this and the MP3s, why not? I kind of want to hear the songs with the crackle too. This probably about 4 months ago I picked this up, but it kind of relates to something else I'm going to show in a minute. That's a Neo Geo stick from Domination X. I got this color scheme because I already own the one with the multicolor buttons that looks like a Neo Geo CD controller. But as always, fantastic controller. So thanks to them. Let me get these out of the way. I picked up a ton of old magazines. I got most of these at cost or less, which is a great deal because most of these are actually still sealed. And to get sealed magazines, they can go for a bit. And that party came to an end abruptly when this other guy got wind of it, or woman, I don't know. Someone else on eBay got wind of what was going on because suddenly I had serious competition from these magazines. And at one point I said, I'm going to bid this up high just to see how far they're going. I got one magazine up to $30. Keep in mind, that's more than probably 6 of those combined, and they still outbid me. So they were really going for those magazines. And I found another seller who had sealed magazines. I got a few of those before the same person found that seller and did the same thing. And they were, in the beginning, before I started bidding up really high to test them, I was bidding on things with 0 bids at, a couple hours until the auction ended. And these auctions were ending at weird hours in the morning, and they still outbid me. I don't know what they were doing, if that's a software or app you can get. But yeah, that was annoying. But I grabbed so many that I made out well. There were some really, really early issues of PC Gamer that I wish I would have gone a little bit more for to get. But that person got them, and they definitely paid for them. But I love those. I do have a lot of PC Gamers, but they are my originals and are falling apart. And so to have backups, I read old magazines all the time. It was also vindication because my wife thinks it's weird that I get old magazines. She thinks I'm the only person that does that, and I pointed her to that other person on eBay. And I said, "I told you, there's other people out there that like weird shit." Few Saturn titles. Picked up Clockwork Knight and Clockwork Knight 2. I own Clockwork Knight 1, but the guy was basically giving away Clockwork Knight if you bought the second one. So I'm going to combine this one with mine to get the best copy possible and just give away the other one. They should both work just fine. I just, why not get the best I can? And Clockwork Knight 2, which has gone up in price recently. That was the one I was missing. And I picked this up for $10. I got this on the down end because this thing can go from, it's not too expensive, $15 to $25. I'm not sure why no one bid on this, but it was $10, so happy to get that. Months ago, I ordered some stuff from a friend. If you've seen Crack's video of electroplankton, it was the same guy, and I just never showed these. I had it in one of those second parters that I never showed. I got Sky Gunner, a great condition copy of God Hand, and cotton 100%. Neither me or him realized how much this was worth. He asked for, I think, like $20, $30, and I looked on eBay and no one was selling it. No one had sold it, so I said sure. And then suddenly I saw a guy I buy Japanese games from put it for like $70. So I had no idea. The cotton's a fun little shooter series. I got this one a while back too. This is a sealed copy of Zax, but I bought that because PC Engine Works sent me a free copy of the translated version they have. I showed this a while back. They kind of got some heat because they put out fan translations. So what they did is say, if you want the game for free, we'll send it to you for free. We have it pressed at a factory, so it's less wear on your laser. What we're charging for is our time in designing the packaging and whatnot. And sure enough, they sent me this press copy of Zax 3 fan translated. So I went ahead and got the original just to have the complete set. Let's see. I was watching Sega CD Universe, Mike, and he played D, so went ahead and grabbed that. That looked, or he was largely talking about it as they were playing through it, and I recalled that I haven't really sat through and played through D. Mysteria, I talked about this one last time. It still smells. I got most of the candle wax off, but yeah, the person tried to tell me that you'll see it here. I mean, you can. I mean, it's so strong smelling. It's over here. Yeah, see how it's foggy? This is all candle wax. I took a photo of this with my crappy iPod, and you can see it. They insisted this is on the auction photos. It's not. Then they said I must have done it, or it was done in shipping. This, I mean, it's an okay smell. I'm not gonna lie. It's all right, not bad at all. A little strong, but this is clearly candle wax. The post office doesn't open your package and dip candle wax. I'm not gonna do it. And that's after they said, "Oh no, it's a weird substance. It's just, it's the case is scratched and foggy. There's nothing on it." But then they refused to refund me shipping, and I kind of calculated that shipping was going to be 22 to 25% of what I paid. And so if I had sent that back, I would have lost that amount. Then had to rebuy this, and then at that point, I'm paying, a good, 1 1/4 over the value of it. So I just said, I never want to deal with these people again. Just give me the game and go away. The registration card's missing as well, but whatever. They're dickheads anyway, so I'm not shocked. But Mysteria, so as you can tell, that didn't go well. That was soured. Now, I thought eBay did refund you the money automatically, but what I read on a seller's forum is that when you go to refund money, it's just the base amount, and then you have to add the shipping. eBay wants you to, but they don't make you. So I didn't want to take that gamble. A while back, I found Aliens vs. Predator. This came with one of the inlays. It was the Predators and the manual for $30. I thought this game had, years back I would check it, and it was 60 to 80. But after I picked this up, I went back and I saw some copies have been selling for 30 in box. So I guess maybe that's the going rate now, or I just caught it on the downswing. Like in the hunt, I use that as an example a lot. I bought it for $10 disc only, 20 with case and complete. And the next time I checked, it shot up to 40. So maybe I was just lucky with this. Or if it is 30 is the going rate, I put some gameplay footage of this up already, and it's surprisingly better than I thought. So yeah, if it's $30, go ahead and grab this. Still pretty atmospheric given its age. Let's see. Picked up a few import items, so let me grab these. Most of these are from the same seller. I picked up one high-end item, which I'll show. And while I was there, I figured, why not? Now, the high-end item was pricey, but everything else was $1 to $5. A lot of them were $1, and I couldn't resist. So let's see. Okay, this is a set of demo discs that were released in Japan for the PlayStation 1. What I really like about these is this is Volume 3, and I believe it's 3 of these. I think it's, let's see, yeah, Volume 1, 2, and 3. So the first 3 demo discs. I've never heard of these before. I saw the Moo Moos from Jumping Flash. I got excited. And yeah, this was like $1.25 for these 3. So yeah, I'm a fan of demo discs. I jumped on that. This was $4. Wizardry. This is pretty interesting because this is apparently already translated. Most of the text is in English, including story and menu, everything. Now, the manual's a little rough. It doesn't come with the spine card, but it was $4, so yes, I will. This was like $3. Snatcher, the Turbo Duo version. And I really wanted this one because it came with both manuals and the stickers. Look at that. And I read that this is one of the better versions. The Sega CD version is based off of this. There are slight differences. The Sega CD version is apparently more interactive in the third act, but this one has scenes that were not edited. There's a few censored scenes in the Sega CD version. A lot of these I just got really lucky on, and I just sat and waited. And the company tends to put them up in cycles. Like if you see a Snatcher, there's a good chance if you miss out on one, they'll put it up again, and then a few days later another one. So I know never to get too bummed if one goes too expensive or I miss out. And this was the second or third go around. Yeah, it was a couple dollars. Now this one was about $5.50. Romancing Saga. I got this because they just released a fan translation of this, so I will send this off shortly to get translated. Similarly, this is actually older. I got this probably 3 months ago. Treasure Hunter G. I've been wanting to try this one. This one has been fan translated for a long time, so I'm going to send this one off the Romancing Saga. Similarly, Slayers. This is also the older fan translation. I'm going to send that off. All these came in great shape. And this one was like $2.25. Let's see. Okay, now this is a little different. This was about $4. Mario Tennis. Now I got this because I bought this from a guy on Atari Age. It's a mold that you replace in your of a cartridge slot. You replace it in your N64 to fit import games in. You just unscrew the old one, screw this one in. I already have the game bit heads to open the system. And so I needed a game to test it out on. And this one looked pretty fun. A few bucks. This is the big one. This is the biggie. The big biggie. Street Fighter 03. I finally pulled the trigger. And what convinced me to pull the trigger on this is this used to go for $120 back last year. And that price has just skyrocketed. This one was not, I would say, at the going rate today. Right? It wasn't... it was expensive in the general sense, but it wasn't expensive for what this game goes for. What convinced me is I contacted Steve, the guy that lives in Japan that sells imports to people, and I asked him, I said, this is really going up on eBay over here. Is it worth it? And he said, yes, it's very expensive and much harder to come by now. So I pulled the trigger, came complete, and I played the shit out of this already. It is slightly better than the Dreamcast version, plus it's got the superior controller. If you have the 4 meg cart, it is a fair bit smoother. It's just I think the Alpha Anthology translation might be arcade perfect, but if you can't get that one, which is dirt cheap, but for this one, I really wanted that controller. I can't find a Saturn to PlayStation adapter. If I could, that would solve a lot of problems. But I'm a Saturn nut, and this is one that was on my list. So got that one. So after I picked this one up, I had several weeks to pay for it, and that seller had all that other stuff going on. And all of that other stuff I showed you was like a tenth of what Street Fighter 03 was. I couldn't believe I got the rest of that so cheap. 2 new items. Rare Replay. I just got this in. Interestingly, I've never heard of this before. Amazon gave me $4 off of this because I was a Prime member. There was a little logo that said Prime discount, and when I checked out, they knocked $4 off of it. I've never heard of that. I'm not really sure if that's been going on for a while, but rare replay. I'm about an hour from beating this because I got a code for it, but I wanted the box copy, and that is Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold. I keep saying Etrian Odyssey Untold 2, but it's Etrian Odyssey 2 Untold. Really good game. Not as big of a step as Millennium Girl, obviously, because that's the start of a new series. This is the continuation of it. But when you play something like Operation Abyss, which I talked about in one of those videos I never uploaded, that was such a disappointment. When you play something like that and you go to Etrian Odyssey, you're reminded of how good the design of this is. The pacing is so much better. The writing is so much better. There's a good bit of voice acting in this. The dungeon layouts are so much better. Everything is inviting and addictive in this compared to like Mine Zero, even something like Demon Gaze. I thought that wasn't. I mean, that was better than Mine Zero and Operation Abyss, but nowhere to me on the level of an Etrian game. And this just confirmed it. Put 40 hours into it. Just, perfect. 2 Super Nintendo games, again, from my favorite seller. He said, hey, I know you just bought stuff from me, but I'm about to put up about 50 games. Do you want any of these? And I said, yes. Me and this guy are friends now. He doesn't know it, but I'm his friend. He might not even want me as a friend. I don't care. You're my friend, guy. And that is Super Ghouls and Ghosts Complete and Blackthorn Complete. Super Ghouls and Ghosts, like everyone else, grew up with it, enjoyed it, cussed it constantly. Never had a chance to buy the Super Nintendo version, and now I do. Because I got the Super Nintendo a little bit after, probably a year and a half, 2 years after it had already been out. So I missed out on a lot of the really early releases. Because back then, once you missed out on it, unless you saw it at a garage sale, you just weren't going to get it. Blackthorn's a really fun flashback-style game from Blizzard. I played the hell out of the PC demo of it. And what's weird is these kind of games, I'm not crazy about the gameplay, but I love the rotoscope animation in the worlds. Like, especially Flashback has the more exotic and interesting world. But in this one, you play this guy with a shotgun that shoots orcs. And like, my like 11-year-old brain, my inner 11-year-old in me is like, that's just ticking all the right boxes, like shotguns, orcs, cool jungle world. Yes, I want it all. So I got the chance to grab it, and I took it. I've only played this on PC, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what's like on a controller. Now here's the heartbreaker. I did a pretty long video of the unboxing and my impressions of this, and that is Rose Colored Gaming's V-Stick Saturn controller. Look at this. Oh, micro switch, 28mm buttons. Here, I actually have a V-Saturn. Here's the controller for it. So you can see where the scheme came from. The start button's the same color. The L and R buttons are the same color. Well, close enough. It's not; these are a little darker on the controller. But for what they can work with, it's close enough. You see the bottom row is multicolored, top row is gray. Here's the heartbreaker. So I get it in. I do this unboxing. I was going to do it and go play it, come back, splice them together. The buttons stopped working. They would work, but at no point did all 8 work at the same time. One kept going out and then another one. Got in touch with them. They got back with me the next day, said go ahead and send it all. I sent it to them, and they refunded me my shipping almost immediately, which was really great. Sent them the tracking number. 10 or so days later, I get this back. Playing it last night, the X button goes out. So, okay. I said, I'll deal with it. Or night before last. And I said, I'll deal with it the next day. I'll clean it. Cleaned out the inputs. Start playing Street Fighter Alpha 3. Here's the problem. I cannot go back to the Virtua Stick or the control. This thing is so nice. X button went out again. So then I thought, okay, well, I'm going to record this, send it to them so they can see it's happened again. They not think I'm trying to screw with them or anything. As I'm recording, the R button stopped working. Oh, it's just the heartbreak. Look at the. I just want to show this real quick. Look, nice wood. That's their logo. I guess it's plexiglass. Their logo's etched on the back here. The only thing I wasn't crazy about is this edge. If you're not like this on it, if you're at an incline like that, this will actually dig into your skin. I don't know if you can see it, but now my skin's got a little indentation. That's the only thing. So I was altering my entire body position so this thing would be comfortable. I like it so much. So the joystick is so smooth. I would have liked 30mm buttons because these feel like you have to cramp your hand a touch, but I got used to it. But yeah, sadly that happened. Got in touch with them today, and they said sounds like it's a hardware communication problem. They don't understand what's going on, so they'll just give me a refund once they get it back in the store. I don't know what I'm going to do. This thing is by far the best joystick I've used on the Saturn. It was an absolute pleasure playing Street Fighter with this. And this is expensive, and I was really worried about that. But after 20 minutes with this thing, even with its problems, I thought if I can get this to work, this is absolutely worth the money. But unfortunately, it just doesn't work. So, God, it's a heartbreaker. You see the Japanese logo down there. So sadly, this is going back tomorrow. I don't have time to do it today. They send special packaging and everything. So you send everything back the way you have it. So I have to repackage it, make sure everything's included. But yeah, sorry to end on a downer, but that was a heartbreaker. If you made it to the end of this, thank you so much. I want to be coming back with more stuff shortly. I would like to be, and probably going to be footage of demo discs. And eventually a collection video. Crack's been putting up a lot of collection videos, and that's kind of got me want to do it too. I like yammering on about this stuff, obviously. But I will let you go for now. I'll talk to everyone later.